out. I've been working on.
You printed out all the worksheets you said?
Yeah, and I've been working on them.
And what do you think of
And
them?
I love them. They're great. See, my friends tease me because whenever I go to a class and they say, I'm going to give you homework, they say, oh, Debbie's thrilled.
Yeah, but if we don't write, okay, so my book is set up where you can just read it. And I told you it's purposely set up in like 30 to maybe 40 minutes once a day. You just spend a little bit of time. Some of it, I think some of it might be 60 minutes. I'm not sure. But anyway, set up in small segments because how do we eat an elephant one bite at a time?
Yeah.
But I'm going to let you know that chapter 1 is the hardest chapter.
Really?
Because mindset is the hardest thing we ever do.
It is. It really is. I went through a workshop called Focus, which is very, very intense. And I mean, it was hard and I still struggle, even though I work through a lot of those issues. Every once in a while, they come back up.
What is Focus? What was that workshop?
Focus is it's a workshop that takes 3 weekends, and there's like a week in between each of them, and they're like 3 days that you go for very intense training, I guess you could say. It's kind of intimidating.
Yes.
It throws you off balance the way they do it, and they have all these weird little things that they do. The guy that created it, Wayne McCaney, created it with Dr. Phil McGraw in Texas when they were in college.
Oh, wow. That's
And
interesting.
yeah, and he's been doing it for 27 years here in Kansas City.
Just wow.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
an amazing workshop. And they're going to retire, but they're trying to get somebody to take.
Well, you have to send me the link and the information on that because I'm always about learning about new things and seeing if they were ideal for, other people to support other people.
It's
but
amazing.
Mindset is really, really hard. And I know Pat, who I just lost, I was going to include him, but he ran away. Maybe he'll be back. But Pat was working on that chapter.
Oh, okay.
Pat can tell you that mindset, chapter 1 was really, really difficult. Right, Pat? I don't know if he worked all the way through it, but he was working through chapter 1 of mindset because mindset's difficult.
It is.
Admitting where we're at.
Yes.
Doing a brain dump.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a brain dump before now?
No. I mean, I've done brainstorming about different projects I want to do, but not a brain dump.
Yeah. So if we just brain dump all the things that we're thinking, which is horrid. A lot of it is ugly. I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. If we brain dump all the good, the bad, and the ugly on paper, then we can start saying, are you serious? Like, what did you say, right? Women struggle with this a lot. I'm not that pretty or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had a mom that
that's what she said. But the point is
depressive. So she said a lot of things she shouldn't have said. And, yeah, it took me a while to get over that. Focus helped me with that. I still struggle every once in a while, but.
Have you ever heard of Breaking Free with Beth Moore?
Oh, yes, I did Breaking Free. Yes.
So I did that later in life. I've been in counseling I brag about this. I've been in counseling my whole adult life. I was married to an alcoholic.
Yeah.
For barely 3 years. I got a kid out of the deal, a phenomenal kid. I had an awful marriage, if you want to call it a marriage. The guy owned me, right, for 3 years. Have you ever been in those abusive relationships?
Thankfully, I haven't with my husband.
But anyway, I did. And I was in the relationship 5 years. I was married 3 years. I had another boyfriend when I was dating him before we got married because I met him when I was like 15 or 16. Come on. So I had a real boyfriend in high school. And then I had this pretend boyfriend who I ended up marrying. It's a long story, right?
Right.
And the point is, why do we put up with that crap? Because we think that's what we're supposed to do.
And it's
our mindset in it.
Yeah.
I tell it, well, you listened to my presentation where I said, I thought I wasn't smart, thought I wasn't that pretty. And by the way, Debbie, I couldn't get any guy I wanted in high school, but pretty much, right? No, I didn't date the jocks. I didn't date those stupid. I did one time and I regretted it. My point is, well, because he thought it was all about him. You know what I mean? But my point is, even though that's not what really is true, is what I'm trying to explain in my story here, we
Mhm.
believe it.
Right.
How many lies do you believe in your life that aren't even true about you?
Right.
I mean, right? Like, you're
Uh,
not ugly. You're just, first of all, women, men are the same way, right? There's a different form of, first of all, beauty's inward, just in case you
right.
want to know, right?
And
But
I do see that.
yeah, I do get that, but there's different forms and shapes and whatever of,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And so when you say I'm not, it's like, really, you're not what? Oh,
Right.
I'm not Debbie, and Debbie's not me, and Pat's not me. And I mean, why are we trying to be what we're not? So anyway, and if you walk around believing that you're not smart, you're not pretty, whatever those, what are those negative thoughts in your head?
I try to counter them. Um,
You need to not try. It's a skill, right?
yes,
Mindset is a skill that we learn. So when we say it, are you ugly, Debbie? Seriously? No.
I still struggle with that. Even though I went through focus and we worked on that, I still struggle with
Have you
that.
tried to tell your husband that? He's going to be like, no, I chose to marry you. You got to be kidding me, right?
Yeah, he does say that. Yeah. Yeah.
And I always say, if you're a little bit cute and you're a lot of fun, you'll have guy drama,
That's
right?
cute.
I mean,
Like,
you will. So if
that-
you're not, why are guys messing with you then, right? I mean, I'm just saying. And as we get older, some people have said after you're 50, people don't pay attention to you. I haven't had that problem yet, but I don't want that attention, but you get it anyway, right? Because that's just how life works, if that makes sense.
well, I'm
And
kind of quiet. The larger the group, the more quiet I am.
mhm.
Small groups, I talk their ear off, but
Yeah, but are you more an introvert, an
yeah,
avert, or an
I'm an
extrovert?
introvert. I'm an
Because you know what
introvert.
an avert is, in between the two.
I never heard that before. When you said that, I go, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool."
Yeah, go research about that. So
I
my people
will.
always think my husband is an introvert till they get to know him. If
Wow.
you talk to my husband about what he's interested in, he will not shut the hell up. Come on now.
Well,
Right?
maybe that's what I am because that's how I get. I
So I
don't.
bring him to business groups, but he only goes to some of them. He will go to the group that Pat and I belong to. And actually, Pat's seen me bring him, but he also knows some of those guys in the room. But he'd rather talk to people like the general contractor because he understands that. He'd rather talk to the car guy because he understands that. What he doesn't want to, he actually likes my friend Don Whitney, which Pat knows, who's a lawyer, but that's because he's realized that Don's more than a lawyer. Like, he goes camping and he goes, right? But it's
Uh-huh.
intimidating if my husband's educated, so I don't want to call him non-educated, but when he hangs out with educated people that have degrees talking about educated stuff that he has nothing, you know what I mean? When I worked
Right.
for system analyst for Sprint and he'd hang out with all my system analyst friends, he's like, what do I even talk to these people about?
Right.
Right?
And
They're talking about nerdy type.
mm-hmm.
And so he has to figure that out. Where me, I always find a common ground with people.
That's cool.
That's just because but that's more of an extrovert thing, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it makes
Right.
sense. Because
But,
it's
and
hard for me to find that common ground.
yeah, because that's not, I don't know how to explain it. But sometimes extroverts like me, we just talk too much and we need to shut up. Come on now. But yet I'm a really good listener because that's what I do for a living. And people are always shocked that I can be a really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also can be talking and motivating and, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so to figure out if you're an introvert, an advert, and have you ever read the book Quiet?
No.
It's about being an introvert in an extrovert's world.
Oh.
So it helps you to try to understand somebody that is an introvert if you're an extrovert.
Okay.
But it also helps you as an introvert to understand that we all have to be different. It's okay to be an introvert.
Yeah.
Like I said, my husband's more of an introvert than I am. And he's the one that pursued me. And I didn't want anybody to talk to me when he met me. Right. Because I was so broken and so done with life. I was sitting in the back of class. I want everybody to leave me alone. And I sure the heck didn't want a boyfriend or husband. And I had guys asking me out left and right because I was going through a divorce or I was divorced. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was offended by that.
Hmm.
I was like, don't you guys know I'm ugly? I'm stupid. What do you want to control me? What do you, right? Leave me
Right.
alone.
Wow.
Because, you know, when you're broken, you're coming from brokenness.
Right.
And that was 33 years ago. And I'm beyond that.
Right. You work through it.
But, well, yeah, because you got to work through stuff, but you got to find. And so, like you're talking about going through focus and doing break free. God always has me go through these Bible studies twice.
Yes. I need
You're
to
saying you've been through break free, but if you go through it now, you'd be shocked where you're at now. In my book that we're talking about a little bit today, is not a one and done.
Right.
It's ongoing. So if you go through it one time and you go back, wait a couple months, go through it again, you're going to be at a different perspective in your life. So it's all about, but mindset is the hardest thing. But everything starts with mindset. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Everything starts.
Know that.
Everything you do starts with mindset. Your mindset makes you feel good or bad. Write that down. So when you're telling yourself something or you're talking to yourself, are you feeling good or bad? Because you have that choice. I love it when people try to tell me I'm always late. Why are you always late? I'm just always late. Okay, is that who you want to be? No. Do you want to always be late? Or I'm getting better at being on time over time? Which way do you want to word that? Is that a behavior you want to change? Or you just want to say I'm always late?
That's why that one lady told me to rephrase how I say things, because I was telling her how I messed up. I always did this. I always did that. She goes, stop saying that. Say up until now you did that, but now, and she says, state what you're doing, what you're going to do.
See, and I'd rather you do up to now. I don't even want you to talk about up to now. Okay. I want you to take that a little further and being a little meaner. Okay. What I want you to say is, what is it that you say that's bad? Just tell me, give me an example.
That I'm dumb.
Okay. I'm not dumb. I am more than capable of figuring this out. Okay. So you write that down. You write, I am more than capable of figuring this out. And if I don't know the solution, I know how to find the people that do. Okay. Right? You should not be the jack of all trade and master of none. Right. You don't know everything. God didn't even put you on the earth to know everything. Exactly. Right? Yeah. Hey, Pat, can you talk now? Nope, he can't talk. He's just going to listen. Okay. He's hanging out. I didn't want to exclude him. So
I'm listening for another 20 minutes and I can talk.
Perfect. Okay. So what was I going to say? Every time that we have one of those bad thoughts pop in our mind, this is called mind training. Okay. Have you ever done mind training?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I have.
So when we think of something, we can say, I'm never going to lose weight. Really slowly, I'm getting my health back in order and my weight's going down.
You flip it. You say it differently.
No, you say what's really happening.
Oh.
Or what you're trying to make happen, right?
Oh.
So you're starting up a business. I have no clients. Okay. You don't say I have no clients. I can't wait to see who I can educate about my business.
I see. Okay. It's a positive way of what is happening. It's to find the positive.
Like right? Like Pat right now is regrowing his business, but his business is growing. This is what he needs to say. His business is growing every day, and he's looking for new opportunities along the way. And you know what? As he has that mindset, which he's been having that mindset, Pat can tell you because he can't talk right now. I'll talk for him. Guess what? More opportunities are showing up for him. Because when we walk around with an opportunity mindset, and expectant, we expect what's going to happen, then things happen. So the more we focus on something, If I walk around and go, my husband never puts his shoes away, but by the way, he doesn't, so I'm telling on him. But he leaves his shoes all over my house. I've taught him that he should put them in the closet, and I've tried to tell him to put them either in his bedroom closet or the coat closet, but my husband won't do this. He leaves his shoes everywhere. So if I focus on that,
That's all
guess
you.
what? I'm going to see more shoes everywhere. I'm going to be more agitated with him. My house is going to be a mess only because there's shoes everywhere. Which, Debbie, is that true? There's
No.
what about the dishes that I didn't put away? What about the socks I might have left on my bedroom floor? What about those other, but I don't see them?
Right.
Versus I go, man, my house is starting to look more picked up every day because I'm doing a better job of putting things where they belong. Right? If I wanted a clean house.
Okay.
But if I start seeing the results, guess what happens? More results. And what if I communicated to my partner or my roommate or whoever, and I said, hey, Debbie, I've been really trying to get this house cleaned up. Have you seen how great it is? Could you do me a favor? Can you put your shoes? And don't worry, I mess up and I leave my socks here and there. But if we could both do that, can you imagine what our house would look like?
That's cool.
Now I just got that person to want to be a team player versus, oh my God, Kevin, why do you leave your shoes you know what I mean?
I see that.
And so same thing with, I'm educating all these people about my new health thing that you got going on, right?
Hmm.
I can't wait till I find, but do you know who your ideal client is, Debbie? Have you tried to figure that out?
People that want to be healthy, people that are looking for alternatives. People
Alternatives to what though? And what does that mean?
Alternatives to stuff that doesn't have chemicals, non-pharmacal stuff, organic.
Okay, so question. What are those trigger words that you're waiting to hear?
Probably organic, healthy, non-pharmacal stuff,
But yeah, but what if people don't know about those words? I don't think those are everyday words that we walk around and hear people say.
No, just my family.
So what problem are you solving?
Health issues.
Yeah, but you're not solving organic. You're not solving, right?
Oh,
You are solving. I am so tired all the time. I wish I had more energy.
Yes.
Oh, I could help you with that.
Okay. Yeah, people whose joints hurt. People.
So what am I solving today? I'm solving today in this training that I'm doing, people that are walking around going, I'm never going to get the ideal clients. Well, if you keep saying you never are, how about I can't wait to see what opportunities getting put in front of me today to find those ideal clients. If you're more of an introvert, then you should be good at hearing people's pain points.
Okay.
I can't wait to go out and see what a difference I can make today.
I'm writing this stuff down.
Right? So when you get in the morning and you're like, I'm never going to, I don't know if that's what you say, but I'm never going to grow this business. I have sabotaged myself and that was yesterday.
What I say is nobody's going to listen to me. And I don't know why I say that because.
And you know that's the vibe that you send off. So when you show up, if you go to a networking event, nobody's going to listen to you.
Yeah.
Because you just told yourself nobody's going to listen to you. So why the freak should I listen to you?
Yeah. And I do have people listen to me, but those are people that know me real well.
And so I'm an extrovert on steroids. My husband claims that people gravitate to me. I have no idea. And I didn't believe him until I walked into networking, a big event. Like I belong to ACA and Chambers. And so there's tons of people. And I know all kinds of people in the Kansas City area. And then I realized that people do come up and gravitate. But I try to give people hugs. I tell people, hey, it's good to see you. But when I say that to you, Debbie, I'm authentic.
Right.
Like if I see Pat will know. I will be like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. But Pat knows I'm real. I'm saying that. I'm not just saying, oh, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say it if I really don't like you. And I'm not, I'm not that kind of person. I'm just not. If you wear something that makes you look fat, I'm just not going to tell you. But I'm also not going to say it looks great on you. I'm not going to lie to you. That's just not who I am.
Right.
So whatever I say is very authentic. And so people love to hear, right? That
Uh-huh.
positive energy. But if you walk up to people and you're just trying to find out more about them and you care more about them, then you can figure out how to solve their problems.
Right.
So have you ever woke up on Sunday and not wanted to go to church?
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't feel good. I'm tired. I've literally even networking, I sort of feel like I have to. Church, I feel like I get to, but then sometimes, right? Well,
Mhm.
there's times when you show up and it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
So I have two friends who have recently passed on, and they're mentor friends of mine, and they were older and they were married forever, and they're women, and they have widowers. Is that what you call it, guys?
I guess.
I don't know. So I've
Yes.
seen one of them and I walk up and I'm like, oh my God, Ross, it's so good to see you. And I gave him a big hug at church. When I didn't really want to go to church, I'd rather slept in, had all these, right? But I was excited because I just lost my friend Barbara and I seen her husband and I didn't get to make it to her funeral. Her funeral was on Valentine's Day and I was busy and she died while I was actually in Cancun in January. Long story short, but I walked up and I gave him a hug. And you know what he says to me? Oh my God, Sherry, I haven't seen you forever. And there's nothing like a Sherry hug. I'm so glad you're here today.
Oh.
And he goes, and God knew I needed that. And I'm like, so then later I run into my other friend, Norma Hill's husband, Roger, and she's died a couple of years ago. And of course I gave him a hug. And then Ross tried to tell Roger that. And Roger goes, oh, no, I'm the one that gets Sherry hugs. So two of my elderly friends, right? They're in their 80s, right?
Right.
And I believed them because they were very authentic, but I almost didn't show up that Sunday.
Wow.
Right? Because I
believe
was
that.
tired. I had all these reasons, and my husband's working lots of hours, and my husband doesn't always want to get up because sometimes it's his only day off and we could stay in bed. All these things, right?
Right.
Well, how many times you go into networking and you make it about you? What if you make it about them?
Okay.
What if you go to networking for other people, right? Not you. I keep telling you that, right? So right now we have a shortage of general contractors. So I need Pat to get off his ass and go out and help as many people that need general contractors because we need good general contractors.
Uh-huh.
And people need to take care of their health. So I need
Right.
people like you going out and telling people about the health. Because if you're hiding under the bushel.
Yeah. Well, I wrote my affirmation.
Okay, can I hear them?
Yeah. Let's see, where to stick it? Right here.
And look at this, Debbie. You showed up today and you're getting one-on-one coaching. Look at you.
That's cool.
High five, girlfriend.
Love it. High five.
And Pat's listening, and Pat will be involved, but I'm being funny.
Okay.
But I get to work on what can I do for you, right?
Just share with.
I can talk now.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
awesome. Pat did the mindset. How hard was the
Cool.
mindset chapter, Pat?
Well, that was hard, really hard, because I was on the wrong end of the mindset.
But it was helpful, right?
Oh yeah, it was hard, but yeah, it really changed my whole outlook at that point in time.
That's cool.
And I think he's on to chapter 2, but he also the other day gave me a shout out because he's been working with me, and I don't know what he said. I'm not sure if it was a compliment or what. What did you say about working with me? I'm going to get on your.
I said I was working with you, and I said you were good because she will wear you out. And what I meant by that is you don't let me slide, you don't let me BS or anything like that. You stay on me about it, and that's what I meant. She'll wear you out.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because you got to make sure people are moving forward, right? You can't let people hide under the rock. I always tell people, don't work with me if you don't want to be told the truth. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth in love, but I'm not going to just let you, right? But mindset is really, really hard, huh?
And an example of that is the other day I was kind of feeling sorry for myself because some things weren't going right, and you called me on it, and it was like, dang it, I was wanting to feel sorry for myself, and you wouldn't let me do it. I'm like, dang, you're right.
Well, and then I made him tell me what's your 1 to 10. What was your mindset before we talked? What was your mindset when I talked to you?
Oh, I would say a 2.
And then after we talked,
a 5.
see, I only moved him
Realistically.
3 notches. I didn't get him to the 10, but the
But
point
that
is,
day,
right?
hey,
You
three notches on that day was a huge thing.
Exactly. So we got to move a little bit at a time. What I'm trying to tell you is I don't expect you to get a 10.
Right.
I was just talking to somebody and I was like, oh, well, I have a good marriage. And they go, you don't have a great one? And I go, no, my marriage is in the 10. I wouldn't even give my marriage an A+. I'm going to have to let my husband know this. I'm married, love my life, right? We probably have a B+ because there's always room to improve, right?
Right. Right.
And by the way, if you're married and you've been married more than 2 minutes, I always tell people I've been married more than 2 minutes, there's ups and downs in it. Well, life,
yeah.
you're not going to always have a 10 on your mindset.
Right.
But what if you have a B+, or what if you get an A that day, right?
Right.
So if you look at, right, I think I'm a pretty good wife. I'm a pretty good friend. I'm a pretty good parent, but I'm not going to give myself, right, even a businesswoman and a coach, right? Because you can always improve. And the way you improve is your mindset in it. Remember, I was talking about that.
Right.
You annoy me because you leave your shoes everywhere. Well, am I even being a good roommate, right? Let alone a good person. And as a coach, that is true. I'm not going to say we were supposed to meet for a personal training session. Ha ha ha. And you can't give me an excuse. You got to work out today anyway. So how are we doing that? So tell me your affirmations, because that's a great way to make sure. Sherry Berger does not wake up. Look, my hair, I have had a bad hair all week, but that's irrelevant. But I don't look like this in the morning, right? I don't always act like this in the morning. It's the way we start our mornings matter. Right. Do you brush teeth in the morning, or do you just go out with bad breath?
Brush my teeth.
You brush your hair in the morning, do you?
Yep. Sometimes.
Sometimes. And guess what? I don't sleep with this jewelry on, right? I really don't. These clothes I have on, I put them on this morning with some deodorant. You're welcome. I even take a shower, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what we had to do with our mindset.
Right.
Because it's an ongoing process. So did you wash your mindset today?
Actually, I think I did.
Good. Did you brush it a little bit?
Yep.
And then what if we throw some clothes on it?
Yeah. I kind of did that.
Right? It's almost like putting your whole armor of God on. Wait a minute. But what if we do that?
Yeah.
Then we show up as a better version of ourselves. And Pat was saying that day he was struggling, but then you help him say, hey, you can't totally snap out of it, but you can make yourself streetable enough that you can move forward to do better.
Right.
Because you can't change what's happening in your day, but you can change your attitude. Write that down. You can't change what happens in the day, but you can change your attitude of how you choose to respond.
Okay.
So read me some of your affirmations, because this is called getting your attitude adjusted, right? Let's not even call it affirmations, attitude adjustment. Come on, we could change it, right? But what is it, right?
Yeah. Well, I got to give you a little bit of a background to why.
Okay, that's awesome.
So important. I can't swim. I'm terribly afraid of water.
Oh,
And
wow.
You've heard the saying, step out of the boat,
Yeah.
get out. Well, my affirmation is step in the boat and paddle hard. And that's because I joined a dragon boat team and I get in a boat and paddle. And I'm terrified of water. But yet I'm in that boat paddling. I even go to races. I've been on rivers and lakes. and stuff. We won medals and stuff. So my affirmation is to step in the boat, which is my fear, and paddle hard, which means no matter how high the waves are, no matter if a speedboat comes by and the boat's going like this, I keep paddling.
Well, I have a secret. You're talking to the Alaskan girl.
Oh,
We don't swim in Alaska. Did you know that?
no.
We have snow. We have, what is it called? Skiing for recess. I mean, for PE. And we have ice skating for recess.
Wow.
And would you want to jump in the water and learn how to swim? When we're little, we'll jump in that water, but it's cold.
Uh-huh.
Big people don't. And I did not have a pool growing up because I grew up in Wasilla and we had to drive 45 minutes to Anchorage. And Mom tried putting us in swimming lessons some because we had an indoor workout center. My dad's Teamster. So is my husband, which is too funny. Same unions. But anyway, my dad was Teamster and we had a workout center, but that was 45-minute drive. And there's 6 of us. That was a lot for Mom to figure out.
Right.
So I never really learned how to swim. I love the water. The water is my relaxing place. That's my happy place. But I'm terrified of the water. Because I didn't learn how to swim. And so I am how old? 6 years ago, I started taking swimming lessons, Debbie. You're not too old. And if you're going to ride in the boat, learn how to swim. And when I say I can't swim, I know how to doggy paddle. Do you know what I've learned? How to relax more. Because I don't need to know how to swim. I need to know how to relax.
Exactly.
Write that down. Because if you can relax, you can doggy paddle, you can just lay on your back and breathe, you're fine in that water. And then I have my friend, one of my really good friends who's a travel agent, who's from California, and she thinks she's part fish. And we travel together, and I go to the beaches, and I go on cruises, and I do all this stuff. And we're at the lake all summer now since the pandemic, because they bought a boat, we bought a camper, and I have had to learn how to survive in the water. And I'm going to tell a secret, and I'm being videotaped. This is bad. There's been a couple times my friends have had to rescue me.
Really?
Right? Well, because maybe I got pulled into the side swamp crap at the lake, or you know what I'm saying? And they all know that Sherry has her life vest, 50 something years old, with my freaking life vest on in the lake or the ocean, and that Sherry can't swim. And then they always pull me in because they're like best friends of mine, but they'll look at me and they'll be like, if you didn't freak out, if you'll just breathe. So write that down. Get in the boat, don't freak out, and breathe.
Okay.
And you need to get even further for yourself is to learn to get out of the boat. But YMCA will teach old people how to swim.
Yeah.
That's where I went.
That's what I was checking, was for swim classes. I was just checking.
Do individual. And I
Uh-huh.
had my 6 years ago, I had a kid that was the same age as she was probably 16, and she was teaching me how to swim. And then she'd tell me when she got grounded for she got alcohol from one of her older siblings. She went to a Catholic school. I don't even know, but stuff she would tell me, I would sometimes mentor or coach her because I'm not parenting her, but she'd be like, my parents are, and I thought it was funny because my daughter's the same age and she's telling me stuff that she's doing that her parents have no idea. And I was able to coach her. Is that funny? Well, she's teaching me, but she was so good at swimming. And so, she was great at teaching me and had such patience with me. And didn't judge me and didn't, So you're never too old. You know, Colonel Sanders started KFC when he was in the 70s.
Yep. And I think.
So write that down with your affirmations. You're going to get in the boat and congratulations on doing all these fun things. But what if you fall out of the boat? Debbie, what is your backup plan?
We are actually going to do that this summer. We're going to tip the boat. Yeah.
So get a backup plan. Learn how to swim.
I am.
I'm going to have to show you. I have one of these life jackets I love because you can blow it up and you can let air out and you can. But my husband cannot keep me out of the water. My husband last year for our anniversary finally got me. It's a blow up hot tub. It's in my backyard. Cool. I love the water, and yet I'm terrified of it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But you trust that boat that it's not going to tip. You trust that, right? You need
It's
to trust yourself.
Baby boy.
boat.
But anyway, that I love. Get in the boat and learn to go. I get that. But let's go a little further and learn to swim. Since you told me you had fear of swimming, I'm going to let you know.
Yeah.
That's not what we do in Alaska.
Wow, I did not know that. Did not even think about that.
Well, I've never seen an igloo before in my life either, in case you didn't know this. And I grew up in Alaska. And I've never seen anybody ice fish. I know we do it somewhere, but I've never seen it. But I've been on ice and we ice skated. We used to take our big basketball court and they'd fill it with water and we'd ice skate for recess.
Wow.
And we
that
had warm-up rooms, but we could only stay in there for 5, 10. I don't even know how long. They would kick us out of the warm-up rooms because you need to be outside running around. Come on.
right.
Yeah, Alaska's like living in a different world. Just let you know. I grew up there.
I got a friend that moved to Alaska and she loves it. I met her through Focus.
It's gorgeous, but I had horses and did 4-H and I shoveled frozen manure and we had a driveway that went down and back up and we'd have to shovel it. We never got snowed in. So I've dealt with a lot of snow stuff and things. I never want to live in cold. But just because I grew up and I was born in Fairbanks and I grew up in Wasilla, not my problem, right?
Right.
But I do want to go back and visit. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. But
Mhm.
anyway, back to your affirmations. I just wanted to get you to dig a little deeper with,
Okay.
I'm going to be in the boat, but I
Okay.
have to have a backup. And I don't even care if you can swim. Can you
Okay.
float? Can you doggy paddle?
I
Can you
dog-
learn to just
paddle.
breathe?
I
And
dog-
can you make sure you have a life jacket that's gonna
Oh, I do. We have
sustain you?
a jacket. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the rules where
Anyway, so there's a great story. I told you mine. Now go on. I'm sorry not to take the show, but go.
well, that was really the only affirmation I wrote. I also have a t-shirt that says keep calm and paddle on. So I guess that could be a affirmation.
Exactly. And that's a great. And so your word for the year, I don't know if you have a word for the year.
Uh-huh.
What's your word?
My word was engage.
What does that mean to you?
To engage in things that help me grow, engage in things that help me be healthy, engage in things that will engage other people to be better. So engage just covers a whole
Oh, so
bunch.
let's put engage at the top of your affirmations, which they don't always have to be. Some
Okay.
people don't like affirmations. They don't want to look in the mirror and go, man, you are a rock star, Sherry, and you're going to rock it and you're going to make $50,000 today. Right? That's unrealistic and ridiculous. Come on, you know, or you're going to go be a supermodel. I don't even know. But people don't believe that. It's okay to high five yourself, though. You've heard that before, right? In the mirror.
Right.
That's too funny. Yeah. Who is it that says that?
Mel
But it is.
Robbins.
Yeah.
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins says to high five yourself, and that's okay. And you
I
are
tried.
a rock star.
I tried it.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that, right? You said, what did you just tell me? Engage. So what does engage mean? We could almost use that as an acronym if you wanted to, but there's
that would-
all these ways you could do. So I'm
Ooh.
going to engage things that scare me. So every day I'm looking for opportunities to figure out how to engage. Okay, so engage is a great word for to grow your business. Don't you have to engage?
Yes.
Where are you networking?
I haven't started yet. I'm actually meeting with Peggy next week, and we're going to do our vision board. Peggy's
Okay,
the
but there's no starting. That's funny. You're going to do a vision board because I'm going to have a workshop on putting together a vision board.
oh,
but-
cool.
I'm going to have that coming up too. But more
Okay.
importantly, yeah, your vision board, but you don't need to start networking. You need to find out where you can go to go meet people. That's all networking is.
Okay.
People overthink. Just do.
That's what I do. I overthink everything.
Okay, so as part of my engaging is going to be, I'm not going to overthink. I'm going to jump out of the boat. Or I'm going to jump in the boat, however you want to put it. When opportunities arise, I'm just going to go for it.
Okay.
I have a problem, Debbie. If you hang out with me too much, you're going to start believing you can do anything. Are you sure you want to hang out with me? Right?
Yes.
I mean, Pat already warned you.
Uh-huh. I know.
If you hang out with me, you're going to believe you can do anything.
Cool.
That's just because the sky's the limit, right? Go
That's
back to
what
that 5-year-old of you. What do you want? So engage is a great way to start your affirmations. What if you made every one of your affirmations or what you're doing or what you're working on or what you're going to say to yourself around engaged? Only pick 3 to 5 things too. Don't make a bunch because you'll never
Okay.
do them.
Okay. Right. No.
We are not, God calls us sheep. We're not that smart. We think in 3 to 5s.
Okay. I like that. Because see, I make a big long list and then I get overwhelmed.
I know. But
So
it's
I need-
okay to make a big long list. Didn't I just tell you to brain dump?
Yeah. the
Now let's
brain
pick
dump.
3 to 5 things out of there.
Okay. Okay. Brain dump and pick 3 to 5.
So did you know that what is it called? Oh my gosh. Like you could find 3 things that describe you. I'm enthusiastic, I'm charismatic, and I'm resourceful. Are you shocked that those would be the 3 adjectives that describe me?
No, not
So
at all.
why don't you go ask about 5 to 10 people around you what they
Okay.
think would describe you? I told
Okay.
you when people called me charismatic, I was like, no. So I went and looked it up. And Debbie, I've tried not to be charismatic. I've tried to do, hey, let's just have a cup of tea. Let's calm down. And this is a good time to take a, what the heck? I
Yeah, it
don't
didn't
know how to do that.
sound like you. It didn't sound like you at all.
No. And so I was like, I didn't like charismatic. I was like, that could be bad. Resourceful is good. What was the other one? Enthusiastic or something? Okay. But you're going to find when somebody says something about you. I so wish Ruth was on here because I can't remember. One of her people told her that she was, I don't remember. But just because you don't like the adjective that they might give you,
Mm-hmm.
let it sink and think. And see
Okay.
if you can find those 3 things. So every time I show up, almost every time, right? By nature, I'm enthusiastic, charismatic, resourceful leader. I always am. Ask Pat, he's been working with me. She'll wear you out because I have energy.
Right.
And again, I was going to say the Debbie Downer, which is so funny because we shouldn't even say that, right? Right, Debbie? But we do.
Right.
But if I show up as Eeyore, nobody knows who I am.
Right.
And if I try to, like I said, go on my YouTube, my friend Terry Ann is phenomenal, but she's so much more like this. I am
Mhm.
like this. Did you know that about me? I
Yeah.
literally am.
Yeah.
But it's about understanding and embracing and knowing you. I was born with brown hair. I don't have blonde hair. I have brown eyes. I don't have blue eyes. I
Uh-huh.
don't have hazel. I am not a Barbie doll. That is not my build. And no matter what I do, I'm not going to be Barbie.
Right.
So figure out who you are, make your affirmations around them.
Okay.
People love me because I'm energetic, charismatic, and resourceful. People hate me because I'm energetic. Did you know that? They'll be like, she's way too charismatic for me. That's great. I'm glad that I'm too charismatic for you. Because if I try to change who I am to be what you need, I mean, I do that to a certain extent, right? But if I
Right.
try to change, nobody's going to buy me. They'll be
Right.
like, okay, guys, we're all here today. Let's just breathe and calm down. And let's come up with some good qualities about you. Everybody'd be like, what the heck? See, not only did I grow up in Alaska, but my whole family is from Massachusetts. My parents have known each other since they were 12 and 14, and
Oh,
they're
wow.
both from Massachusetts. So I was raised by 2 Massachusetts parents. So people have said, are you Italian? Are you from East Coast? You talk fast. You talk with your hands. You act so East Coast. And I was like, oh, I was raised by two East Coast parents,
Right.
even though I grew up in Alaska. And Sarah Palin, have you heard how she talks?
Oh yeah, she's very fast.
That's
talk.
how us Alaskans talk. But did you know that the Bushes talk like Texas?
Yeah.
But have you ever seen them show up, try to do politics? They don't say, y'all come back, you hear?
Yeah, they don't.
And my parents do not walk around saying, park the car in the Harvard yard. They do not. Because nobody knows what that means.
Right.
But they don't change that they're East Coast. I still got that East Coast. I
Right.
talk fast. I talk with my hands. I'm very charismatic. I can be direct at times. I do it very in love. And so the more you start realizing who you are and accepting who God made you be, the better your affirmations and your mindset can be. I love everybody, Debbie. I collect friends. I just love all the different personalities. And I thought everybody would want to be my friend. And when I got in my 40s, I realized they don't. And some people are actually mean.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
But those are not your ideal clients. Those are not your ideal whatevers.
Hmm.
And you were talking about being pretty or not. You're not everybody's cup of tea.
Right. I actually said
So?
that to somebody.
So
Yeah.
why don't you start talking to those people that, so the more you change your mindset and you more be acceptance of who you are, the correct people will gravitate to you.
Okay.
Debbie, you met me. You came to my house. I didn't even realize that. I invite people all the time. And you know what you did?
What?
Guess
What?
who I acted like the whole time you were there? Me.
You act like you are now.
And
Yeah.
you went, oh, that girl's cool, and wanted to follow me. But not everybody's going to look at me and go, some of them are going to go, man, she's a little much. She should. Now, I will be honest with you. I do tone my charismatic down and up
Uh-huh.
because you can't.
Right.
So whatever it is, like, what would you say was one of your, what do you? Ruth says that she's very direct, and Ruth can be very direct. Okay, she can, but that can also be very informative. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Direct is probably more her than it is me. But is type A and direct bad? Who are some people that you follow? Who are podcast people and people that you listen to?
I listen to Mel Robbins. I listen to Joyce Myers. I listen to Jim.
Okay, Joyce Myers is very abrupt.
Yes. Yes.
Not everybody likes Joyce Myers.
Right. And Beth
Sometimes
Moore.
I worry I'm a little bit like Joyce Myers and Beth Moore, and I like both of them. Most generally, people either like Joyce Myers or Beth Moore. Did you know that?
Really, I like them both.
Yeah, but some people prefer the other. Look at their personalities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you like Joyce Myers, yet she's very abrupt.
I do.
And she's
like
not going to show up not being abrupt.
Right.
Not everybody likes Joyce Myers.
Yeah, I was shocked when I heard somebody said that they didn't like Beth Moore. And I thought, how could you say that? She's great. Oh, I don't like her. And I go, really?
Yeah,
I'm
but what did they say she act like?
They said it was her voice.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't like you because the hair, your color of your hair. You know, people talk about being prejudiced, and I don't want to belittle being prejudiced. We do need to not be prejudiced. Right
Mhm.
now, by the way, we are actually in, today is this month. We just talked about what our favorite holiday was, March or
Mhm.
something. But this is Women History Month.
Oh,
And the way women have been treated over the years is not okay. But I'm
Right.
saying we are all somewhat prejudiced. We don't
Mhm.
like somebody's voice. We don't like that they're abrupt. We don't like, and part of that's just preferences, which is fine, unless you're being mean and cruel in the making.
right.
Oh yeah, I was on your Facebook and I seen your cat, and your cat, told my husband, I showed him, because your cat always joins us on Zoom.
Definitely. I have to
But
move
not
up.
everybody likes cats
Right.
because they're independent. They do their own dang thing. You know, cats are teenagers and dogs are more like a toddler.
Right. Absolutely.
And people
Yeah.
have preferences between a dog and a cat.
Mm-hmm. I like them
So
both.
you should have a dog. You should have a cat. What do you like? And some
I like
people like
both.
both.
I do like both.
And we grew up in Alaska, and if you didn't have a cat, a dog, and a horse, you were weird in my neighborhood. Because
would
you
love
had
to
to have
have
3
a
acres or more. I grew up in the country in Alaska, right? But my point is, what do you prefer? And who are you? So give me some adjectives on Beth Moore.
I think she's very intelligent and she digs deep. And I like the way she emphasizes things. She's got a way of emphasizing things. And then she'll ask you questions.
So what about Joyce Myers? What are her adjectives?
She is she's like my oldest daughter. She's very blunt. It's kind of funny because Joyce Myers is a lot like my oldest, and Beth Moore is more like my youngest. I don't know. Maybe that's why I like both of them. I don't know.
And maybe you have a little bit of combination in you. So what I'm trying to say is go out and look at those qualities.
Okay.
David Ramsey, have you ever followed him?
Oh yeah, I've taken.
He's
his class.
very direct. He's very
Mhm.
type A, and he doesn't give a shit what you think.
Right.
It's his way or the highway. Yet people love him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They follow him. I've worked with him. I've been certified financial coach through him. You know, I don't necessarily, I've pulled away for other reasons, which is fine, but he's still overdoing his thing. Do you see David Ramsey say, let me be who you want me to be?
No, not at all.
So people respect him and look up to him as a leader. Now, Donald Trump is an asshole. Let's just be real. This is not about politics.
Right.
But he does not care what anybody thinks. And he's very direct and very self-centered and very narcissist and very, right? But people like what he does and he has money. So that's why some people will follow him and other people can't stand him because, and that's, I mean, that's not even a good example. Let's not even talk about it because that can start all kinds of drama. But I'm saying if you start looking at different leaders in the community or people that you follow, or people that you don't like. I mean, look at your cat. I would say your cat is very confident and life is all about, look at me, I'm here.
Yep, that is her.
She always shows up because she has to be in the middle of everybody's business. A little bit nosy.
Yep.
But could we call that inquisitive? Could we call it curious?
Yep. And that's what I am. I think I'm a curious person. Because I'm always wanting to learn new stuff. I'm always taking notes. I even take movies.
You said you love homework, right? Because you love to learn.
Yep.
So if you're curious and you learn, how do you show up as a leader, though? When you're going to show up for other people?
Well, when I am placed in a position of leadership, I step up. But I will not ask to lead anything. I was asked to be a vacation Bible school director. And I said, oh, I can't do that. Well, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. And I said, okay. And I did it. And I blew everybody away at how well I did it. I went and color coordinated everything for the different classes. So they knew this is your stuff.
So you're very organized. Write that down. You're a very organized leader.
Well,
you're very curious.
I can be.
No, when you're doing leadership, you organize.
Yes, I do.
You like structure.
I do.
And like I said, go ask. You told me you had really good friends. Go say, when you think of me, what are 3 adjectives that you think of me? Especially when I'm in a leadership type or a business role.
Okay.
So that when you're doing your affirmations, when you're going out to go show up in the world, you know who you're showing up at. And I don't know if Pat can talk or not because I can't see him, but I'd love for him to chime in on what he thinks regarding this, right? If he can.
There he is.
Oh, nope. He's working and listening, which is a great strategy, right? That's called being a continuous. We can just give him an adjective right now. Pat's a continuous learner, or he's choosing to be.
That's
right.
Cool.
Even if he's not, he's choosing that this week.
like that. That's what I want to be. Continuous
Well,
learner.
maybe you are a continuous learner. Maybe that's one of your, so you're always learning, but what are you learning for? What is your why behind that?
My why behind that is because I want to be confident and I want to help others. I really do.
Okay, I don't want to hear I want to be confident. I am confident in helping others. Write
Yeah.
that down. That's one of your affirmations.
I
I'm
am.
confident in helping others. Or how about I'm confident in educating others about their health?
Okay.
And what if you pray to God about that? God, I'm working today. I'm going to be confident about helping people with their health. Show me how I'm doing that. And why do you not feel confident? What are you telling yourself that you're not confident?
I still struggle with those old tapes that my mom used to say. And
Have you wrote them all down?
I don't think I wrote them all down. I wrote some
Okay,
of
so
them.
I need you to brain dump all those, and every time you come up with them, so that we can recraft them.
Okay.
Like you said, I'm trying to be confident. What the heck? How old are you? Stop trying and just do.
Yeah.
How about if somebody says, I'm trying to learn my ABCs? Are you serious? Say your ABCs. I can only do it to G. I just taught Simon last week. He's starting to learn. He's only 2 to get to G. So he goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. G's for grandma.
Oh,
That's how I got him to do it.
oh that's
So
so
we're
cute.
all excited to get to, like when you do Ring Around the Rosies, which he loves, you're
Uh-huh.
waiting to get to the we all fall down. When I'm teaching him A, B, C, D, E, F, G for grandma, that's what he wants to do.
Oh, that's so cute.
So it's encouraging him to, right? So for your confidence, A, B, C, D, E, F, G's for great, because I just helped somebody.
Oh, I like that.
So what if you do the A, B, C, D? What if you only got to D and it was dynamite?
Oh, cool.
My point is, each step that you're moving forward in your confidence, you're helping more people.
I can't find my phone. I hear it ringing.
But you weren't supposed to bring your phone.
I'm sorry. I usually have it turned off. Never got turned off.
So it's great that you can't find it. Mine is upside down, it's turned off, and it's on mute. What an idea. And so all these people that call me, I can call them back.
Right. I usually have it turned off. This is the first time I haven't.
So I am being pre-interviewed at 1:00 to be on a podcast for next Friday. So I will be on a podcast next Friday. I'll have to let you know about that.
Okay.
But the guy wanted me to be on his podcast, but until I have a coffee with him, I will not be on his podcast because that's how I play. But I can always get back to my phone and my other emails, all that other stuff later. And some of that's just mindset in that as well, right?
Right.
Pay attention to your limited beliefs and which ones are negative thoughts.
Okay.
You have that. Make them questions that you're capable of achieving, okay? So I'm growing every day in my confidence as I educate others along the way. How about that? That's a great affirmation.
I like that.
So what did I say? Do you remember?
I'm growing every day as I educate people.
I'm growing in my confidence every day as I educate people along the way.
In my confidence.
That's almost a poem.
Yeah. People every day. Along the way.
And educate does not mean that you're getting them signed up for your products.
Right.
It's meaning, have you ever heard of, what did you say, toxins?
Well,
no. Well, until I got toxins out of my world, I was tired all the time.
Right.
I mean, that's what you could say to somebody. What if I could show you how? And you know how you get toxins out of your environment? It's like mindset. It really is. It's small, little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Nobody's
When,
going to throw everything away in their house.
right.
But what if
Uh,
every time you need to replace something, you start replacing with something better?
That's what my youngest daughter did. I took her to a nutrition class because I had breast cancer, and I started taking classes at Turning Point. And I took both my daughters to the nutrition class. The youngest daughter ran with it. Her kids don't have sugar, they're gluten free. I mean, she does everything organic, she makes things from scratch. My other daughter does half and half, but they both.
But that's a personality. And that's
Uh-huh.
what you're going to find out when you go out to go educate people.
Yeah.
It's not an all in all. When I tell people about time blocking, which is chapter 6 of my book,
Uh-huh.
they think they got to block every little freaking time. Now, the type A people need to, because that's what they want.
Right.
But the free spirited people, if we just have somewhat of a, same with our pre-spending plan,
Uh-huh.
there's still room for you to be rigid, or there's room for you to be, right? There's the nerds and the free spirits. Did you know
Right.
that?
Right.
And I bet your one daughter's more nerdy.
Yep.
So she's over structured, and the other one likes some a little bit of free.
Yep.
But when you go out to meet people, they're the same way.
Yep.
Stop trying to make them stop trying to make the brown-eyed girl have blue eyes. Come on. Right? It's not going to happen.
My free spirited girl is an IT person. And my nerdy
But
girl.
I used to be a system. I'm not. I'm more of a nerd, which you would think would be the IT. And by the way, I literally have a degree in computer science and a minor in accounting. And I'm a nerd. And people are like, you're so not a nerd, but I am. So I analyze things. You're talking about that. I will overanalyze. My husband, I don't do this anymore, but well, I still do. Let's be real. If we get in a fight, we've been together forever. I want to analyze why. And I want to make sure we're not going to go down that road again.
Right.
I'm sorry, get over it, move on. Okay, first you got to hear my feelings and you got to understand why I was upset. Then we need to discuss how we don't do this again. And then we need to do all our Excel spreadsheets on this. And he's looking at me like, no, we don't. Right? I do that with retirement too, right? Oh my gosh, we're going to retire and my husband is more free spirited. He's looking at me like, if you don't stop nerding out on me, I'm going to run away. But now you're abandoning me. You're not listening to all my problems and you're not helping me with the solution.
Oh my goodness.
Right? That's a personality conflict.
Wow.
I'm being funny in it. By the way, if I act that way, it doesn't work for me, Debbie. He doesn't like it. I don't know why.
This is not his personality. Not his
My
love.
point is, aren't there those two personalities? I bet you could tell me funny things in your marriage, right? So it's funny when you're trying, and I'm just saying, because who's your closest relationship? Your spouse, usually. Well, hopefully it's God, but next to that's your spouse. And we can be like oil and vinegar, right? Because I'll be like, let's do this. And he'll be like, no. So when we plan a trip, I'll be like, oh my God, look at all the, except for, believe it or not, when I go to trip, I do not like to be busy every moment. I'd rather hang out on the beach and do nothing and then go see a few things. Because in my real life, I have it all planned.
Right. Makes sense.
So there's over planners, there's the over analyzers, there's the free spiriteds that maybe need to get some kind of plan together. So when you go out to go educate people, even about health, if you give them a rigid plan, they're not going to like it. But some people love the rigid plan.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to them, right, is what works for them. Did you go over the top when you went through your thing when you had breast cancer? Did you change your whole life?
Oh, I tried. Yeah. Oh, I took every class. I started doing shakes and started doing all kinds of stuff, exercises. And then it just kind of trailed off. But I kept a few.
So you maybe tried to overdo too much that doesn't work with your personality. And maybe you need to do more what your free spirit is. But what works for you?
Yeah, having fun doing the dragon.
Yeah, but
fun.
Oh, by the way, that's what there's a personality There's a
Mhm.
personality about countries, and I guess I live in fun country. So if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. Yet you just heard I'm a computer analyst, you know, I can analyze stuff. But I think it's fun to break and do, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
But I hate office hours. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would rather have and I have a virtual assistant that does some of my stuff, but a lot of my stuff, I don't want to be doing that kind of stuff. I can do bookkeeping in my sleep. I'm good at all that stuff. Do
wow.
not put me in a cube and make me do it. I used to work as a program analyst. Do you know they wanted me to sit in a cube and they wanted me to do development and modification and production and testing, and I could do all that. I think like that. It's great. I can write all those functions.
I
But
would
when you
fall-
want me to just sit in a cube all day and not talk to anybody, I'm like this. So when I was a system analyst, I went out and I broke everything, talked to everybody, came out how we could put everything together. And I love what I do. And now I jokingly say, guess what I do all day? I have a cup of coffee, figure out, listen to people's problems, come up with solutions. I think I gave you a few nuggets in this workshop.
a lot.
And that's what I do. But I love what I do. So find what you love to do, or even if you're trying to educate about health, what does that mean to you?
Okay, I need to write that down. I got 7 pages of notes from just these days. And I've got more I'm adding, of course.
Yeah. And what are you going to do with those notes? Are you going to apply them?
That's where my issue comes in. I write the notes, then I get stuck. How do I apply them? That's where I get stuck.
Well, Pat already warned you, if you work with me, if I do coaching with you, you will be having to apply those notes, because that's the point. Read my book, but if you don't apply it, it doesn't help you. And the follow through is what? So what are you planning on doing next week that's different than this week? Let me know, Debbie.
I am going to have a better morning routine, and I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to plan where I network. I need to plan where I network. I need to plan making calls. I need to watch more of the videos about the supplements and what they do. I don't need to know the scientific stuff of it because I can share those videos. I know that. So I need to step out of the boat.
But do you have that written down?
Yes.
And what is your morning routine that you're talking about? What are the 3 things that you want to do in the morning that you're not doing now?
I want to get up earlier. I have not been getting
Okay,
up.
write that down. I'm going to get up earlier. What does that mean? Remember, we talked about those specific goals. Getting up earlier. What time do you get up now?
I used to get up at 7 o'clock, and then I had some health issues and it put me back. I don't get up till 9 o'clock now, and I hate that.
And how is that working for you? Do you like getting up at 9?
No, it messes
So what
up.
time do you want to get up in the morning?
I want to get back up at 7 o'clock.
Okay, but you get up at 9 right now.
Right.
So what if you start getting up at 8?
Okay.
By the way, we just sprung forward. So now we
Right.
have more light at 8 in the morning.
Okay.
What
Okay,
time you go to bed in the night?
I used to go to bed at 10:30, but I had some health issues come up and it's totally messed up my sleep. So I need to work on my sleep. I need to be,
So what time you go to bed at night?
it's been 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, because you can't sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I can't wait to get these products. Cause see, I've had samples of these products. And when Peggy gave me samples, the stuff that helped me sleep, it was great and stuff. So I haven't gotten my.
So if we go to bed at 1, we're not going to probably get up at 8. You know what I mean? You need so much sleep.
Right.
So when you want to get up early, what does that mean, right? What do we have to change? And do you exercise every day?
I used to. I mean, everything fell apart when I got sick. I mean,
I get that. Remember, I almost died 5 years ago. Everything fell apart. Okay, yeah. So everything fell apart. That means we get to rebuild.
Okay.
Write that down. We're just going to rebuild.
Get to rebuild. Yes. I
So
know
what
what,
if every day you moved for 30 minutes? Do some
Okay.
form of exercise. It will make you sleep at night. Did you know that?
yes,
And how much water do you drink during the day?
probably not enough. I need to
What if
add,
we started drinking more water? It would help us sleep at night,
okay,
right? So let's start doing those small things that we can do to help our health during the
Okay.
day that's going to help us at night. Do you drink soda and coffee during the day?
I don't drink any soda, zero soda. I do have a cup of coffee every morning. Today I have a protein shake instead of
Yeah,
coffee.
I have protein shake, but there's coffee in it. Shh, don't tell nobody. But
Actually,
that's the point.
this is a
Huh?
coffee shake. It's a coffee protein shake.
Mine too. And every day this week, you've seen me drink a coffee protein shake, but that's okay. I was off last week. We fell back. We lost, what is it called? We went to Maryland. So we sprung forward.
Right.
When we flew in Friday night and we sprung forward. Then we woke up Sunday morning and we sprung forward again. Then I did 6 days of toddler. And then I was so exhausted, ready to come home because a 2-year-old can exhaust you as much fun as it is. Then I came back and I fell back. So come Sunday, I don't even know what time it is. And I came back to work on Monday. So I have to show myself grace that at 11 o'clock, I'm drinking protein shakes that have coffee in it. And then I'll go eat later I'll eat a salad or fruits or veggies or something in a couple hours when I get hungry, but I'm not going to drink caffeine the rest of the day. But I think you want me to show up right now as Sherry. You don't want me to show up and go, oh, right? And so I
Right.
got to give myself grace because it's my first Monday back. Not to mention we did all that time crap last week. I'm catching up. But that's okay because I'm restarting. Now, next week, don't be drinking coffee at 11 o'clock, Sherry. That's not okay.
Right.
And so if you can slowly just start changing what you're doing,
Little
you'll
change.
sleep better. But
Okay.
exercise, water, not lack of caffeine, less caffeine if you're doing
Okay.
that. And yeah, like you said, sleep aid. I have really good sleep aid I take. And I actually also do health coaching. I'm actually having a health workshop Tuesday afternoon that a lot of people are coming to, which you could come to it, but which is educating you about health. But I do a different health thing than what you're doing, which is fine. But we have shakes and we have those, and we remove toxins out of your body and your environment, and we do all that. And that helps with all your sleeping, like you said.
Right. Right.
But that's what we have to do is just make those small changes.
Right.
So you can't wake up at 7 if you're not sleeping all night.
That's true.
Because how many hours of sleep should you get at night?
I think I need about 7.5 to 8 is what
See, I require more sleep than my husband requires because each of us are different.
right.
So I always tell people, if I don't get my 7 to 8 hours sleep, you don't even want to talk to me. And if I have not eaten, you don't. Between being hangry and tired, I am not. I know you think I'm this great positive person. Don't find me when I'm tired or hungry, right? It was even worse when I was pregnant. Come on, right?
Right. Me too.
But I know I need my sleep. So I go to bed. Oh, I go to bed between 10 and 11 every night, and I'm up between 6 and 7 every morning, depending on the morning. I prefer to sleep till 7. I'd prefer actually to get up at 6:30 though. In a lot of mornings, I have to be up at 6. So only because when I start at 7, if I start at 6:30, how much more could I get done? So 6:30 is okay with me. 6 o'clock, I'm like, why do I got to be up?
Right.
But like this morning, I went to a 7 a.m. networking, so I'm up.
Uh-huh.
But what if you just make it that all through the pandemic, I was up at 7 o'clock every morning, if not earlier, because I would be in my office by 7:30, right? And ready
Right.
to go.
So I need to
So
make.
when are your work hours?
I have not really established any work
That's
hours.
what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
all a mindset. Just because you work for yourself, and this is mean to tell people, but I tell them all the time when they work for themselves, if you ran your schedule the way you run your schedule, would you hire you?
No,
So are you doing it right?
nope. Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
If you ran your schedule the way you run your schedule, would you hire you? So what hours do you work? Because those are the only hours I want to pay you.
I like that too.
So write out your office hours and write your lunch hour. Because guess what? You get to run your life or your life runs you.
Right.
And I'm going to end on one last thing. People always want more sand in there, right? You know, have you ever got, you've heard that thing where you get a fishbowl
Uh-huh.
and you put all your rocks, you put all your marbles in there. And my marbles are things like God and my husband and my children and my, health and my personal development and my finances and my, right? Then might be my business. But the pebbles, right?
Mhm.
We can add those pebbles in sand, but your sleep is a marble. What are your marbles in a day? I call them your non-negotiables.
Wow.
So I used to tell my children when we were growing up, I talked about church. I'd be like, no. We get up on Sunday and we go to church, just like we get up on Monday and we go to school or work. That's a non-negotiable in my family. You don't wake up Monday and go, I don't feel like going to school or work. So why would I wake up Sunday and not want to go to church?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Those are non-negotiables. But if every day I go for a walk so that I can sleep tonight or feel better, why is that not a negotiable? So I carry this around everywhere I go.
Okay.
It's 32 ounces. I drink 3 to 4 of these a day. Sometimes people ask me, what is in your cup? I'll be like, well, energy drink, or I'll tell them vodka, but it's just water, Debbie. Right?
Yes.
But why do you have so much energy? Well, because I have this. I put it in my car.
That's what I need to do.
I carry it everywhere I go. But Fridays, I go back to back networking, and I'm usually not home till 11. And I start networking from 7 to 11. And I have 2 networking events I go to, and they're big events. And there's coffee. But one of them is breakfast at 7 a.m. And I love coffee. I could drink coffee all day long if you'd let me.
I love coffee.
And if it's there, I just drink it. Right?
right.
But I make myself drink a whole cup of water. And my friends, if I ever go to happy hour, which I haven't been for a while, but if I go to a happy hour, I always have a cup of water with my drink. And I have water with my coffee.
Right. I do too.
Because you can't drink all this coffee if you don't drink your water, Sherry.
Right.
So those are non-negotiables. It's part of my health, though. And what if you go for a walk? My daughter was saying, she's student teaching right now, and she was saying when she goes to the gym, I think she's been going at 4 or 5 in the morning, which is crazy. But
Wow.
whatever, go do you. I'm going to do me. That's what she always says. That's this new 20-year-old thing. You be you and I'll be me. What the heck is that? Sounds a little self-centered to me, but whatever. But you go be you and I'll be me. And I'm not going to the gym at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Wow.
But she got sick and she hasn't been going. And she goes, when I don't go to the gym, I just don't feel as energized all day long, which is true. So I get overwhelmed doing this all day. Well, not really, but I get brain fog. And plus I don't like to be in my office all day. So I reward myself by going for a walk.
That makes
right?
sense.
And so if you go for a walk every day and then you come back, you'd be surprised what your brain will do. Now, sometimes on my walk, I listen to podcasts that I need to be listening to. Sometimes I just get my Jesus on and listen to worship music. Sometimes I just listen to the birds and pray and meditate with God. And sometimes I just call all those people I'm supposed to call them back. It's usually a great time to call my mom and check on her. Right?
Yeah, that's good.
So I feel like I'm multitasking, sort of like what Pat's doing today, right? He's working and he's listening to this, but he's putting positive in so he can get positive out.
Right.
He can't just sit here and do this because then he won't make money.
Right.
So he's making his time work for him. But what do you like to do? Like, I like to go for a walk. Don't ever, that Ruth lady that was on here, I'm being funny. Ruth's awesome, but she loves to run.
I know. That's amazing.
I just signed up for a 5K. Give me a high five. I will
Wow.
be doing a 5K on the 22nd of April,
Oh, that's cool.
but I'm going to walk it. They're calling it a run, walk, crawl. I was like, yeah, maybe I could crawl it, but maybe I'll walk it.
I walk them. I don't run them. I've done a few, but I walk
But
them.
you
I
could
don't-
come with me, right?
When is it?
22nd, I think, of April. Is that a Saturday? It's at Strawberry Hill Museum. I'm going to sign up for it. It's $40. I'm going to get a t-shirt. It helps. I think it's, helping with that. But the point is I got an opportunity to sign up for one and I was like, okay.
Ooh. I might be able to do it. Depends on if the dragon boat's out in the water that day. That's a Saturday.
Well, priorities. Come on now. Hobbies matter. You make time. Write this down. You make time for what matters in your life. So does your health matter?
Yes.
Then make time for it. Does your relationships matter?
Yes.
Make time for it. Personal development matter? Make time for it. The most important person you invest in is yourself. Write that down.
Okay.
So you're investing in yourself when you do personal development, when you do your health, when you figure out your pre-spending plan. I don't like to call it a budget. Your business, you're investing in others. But if you don't invest in yourself, you can't invest in others.
Right.
So if your health's crap, why are you telling me how to get my health crap together? Right? Because we lead by example. You can't tell your kids don't cuss all day in the house and then you walk around cussing. You can't tell your kids, right? You can't tell people. And I'm not saying perfect, right? Don't be perfect.
Right.
So start putting those marbles in slowly.
Okay.
And just change 3 things that you do in the morning differently. 3 small habits. Just 3. Remember, I told you, if you try to do 10, you're not going to change.
Right.
What if you got those 3 habits and then later,
Add
in
more.
90 days or something, you add some more? And brain dumping them all is fine.
Okay.
And I'm glad you have 7 pages of notes, but I want to hear you apply them.
That's what I want to do. That's what I want to get to the bottom of, why I have such a hard time applying them.
So we do have a mastermind starting up next month. It's starting on the 10th of April because
Okay.
that way it's after Easter. That's why I did that. And it's going to be on Mondays and Thursdays over lunch hour.
Mhm.
You've probably seen that. I'm going to have, it sounds like you're putting together, but we will be having a workshop coming up. I haven't put it together yet, but it'll probably be in May. But we're going to have a putting your vision board together in May.
Oh, cool.
And I have a lot of other things. If you're not following me on social media, which you said you were, but I also have a calendar. I will be speaking at 2 ABWA groups. You've heard of American Women Business Association. Speaking at those in April. And I have a calendar out there of all the events that are going on in my business.
Okay. I will check that. Check your calendar.
And of course, I always do one-on-one coaching with people, but we can sit down and talk about and have a cup of coffee and talk about how we would create a roadmap to find like your ideal client or whatever, wherever you are. I'm a transitional coach.
Okay.
So I help people with their life and their business, and I help people create the life and business that they love.
Okay.
And people are like, what does that mean? It means that we are creating a custom roadmap that fits you and who you are and what you want, not me. And I sometimes don't like to call myself a coach because some coaches like to say you're A, B, C, or D. No, you're not. You're X, X, Y, Z. I don't even know. You're custom. You're different.
Right.
And that's what I love about people. But we sit down. That's what we do. I mean, I sit down, but I have a team that works for me too that helps me. But I sit down and we come up with a custom roadmap of how to move you from here to there.
Okay. Sounds
So,
good.
yeah, so let me know. And I know we're meeting for coffee on Monday, so I'll be excited to see you on Monday.
Yeah.
And I'll have 2 copies of my book, and then we can autograph them, and that will be awesome. And
Great. I told my daughter,
which daughter? Oh, you said you're giving it to Mary. That's your younger daughter?
Mary, the youngest one. She is like nerdy, but you wouldn't think she's nerdy because the other one's the IT person. But she has a blog. She travels in an RV, and she does homeschooling, and she's extremely organized.
Mm-hmm.
Is so organized about everything, and she makes everything from scratch, and everything's organic, no sugars and no dyes, and she does so much. And right now they're traveling across the country. They left Texas and they're going from state to state, and she uses every state as a homeschooling opportunity.
How
She
old are
does,
your grandkids?
18, 15, and 10.
Oh,
And
wow.
she's been homeschooling them since the oldest one was 10, 11, something like that. Yeah, she's been doing it for a long time. No, it's been longer than that because Chloe's 10. So she started the year before Chloe was born. So she's been doing it a long time. I guess that's 11 years.
And taking kids across the country is great.
Yeah.
All right, lady, I want you to go make it a good day, and I will see you on Monday.
Sure.
And Pat, you can just call me later. All right, bye.
Thank you so much, Sherry. I really appreciate it. I'll see you Monday.
Okay, thank you.